Welcome back to the Pistol Report. My name is John Francois. I'm the Senior Instructor at Archangel Technologies. In our last video, we covered situational awareness and how your environment affects everything about when you're going out into public or even at home. So before we get started, we're going to continue on situational awareness, but let's do our 4 rules of gun safety. The firearm is always loaded. Don't put your finger on the trigger until you're ready to shoot. Know your target and what's beyond it, and don't let the barrel of your firearm point at anything you're not willing to destroy. Now that we have that, in our last video we used a little diner, Jack and Jill's Diner, as the example. And what we're going to discuss now is transitional spaces. Transitional spaces are wherever you're going into or leaving any place, any environment. Whether that's getting into your car or out of your car, going into your home or out of your home, into a garage or out of a garage to get into your vehicle. The basis is, in those transitional spaces, you need to be even more alert than when you are in an environment that you've already assessed and you're keeping track of. Because just like for any people out there who own horses or have horses, I found that my horses, whenever we leave, if I turn them in the direction of the barn, that's where they were going to head and try to get back to the barn. And as people, we kind of have some of those same tendencies. We think our safe haven is our home, our car, or wherever we're heading into. But be aware, you have to do just what you do to a horse with yourself. You need to go ahead and make it an effort, a mental effort, to go ahead and be more alert when you're in those transitional spaces. So, for instance, when you first walk up to your vehicle, instead of the first thing is going for your keys to get into your vehicle, make sure your hands are free in case somebody pops out from the other side or if somebody's in your vehicle. So, do a walk around just like you do at a rental car place. And if you're not going to do that, at least take in the whole vehicle. Look for anything that's out of place. Any shadows on either side of the vehicle. Any wires hanging from any place. Anything that wasn't there that you remember, you should pause, take time to figure it out. Myself, because of the career fields I've been in, I always make a quick 360 around my vehicle, especially if you have a larger vehicle with a hatchback or a pickup truck bed. Check to make sure somebody hasn't hidden themselves in that. The other transitional places are going into your home. Don't be in such a rush to put your keys in your hand before you get to the door. Look around the door. Make sure it's not ajar. Make sure you don't see something laying on the ground that wasn't on the ground before. When I was a young policeman, I was heading home to go see my mother, lived out of state. And one of the things that I knew is I have a key. My mother usually leaves for work at around 7 a.m. So she's gone by 7 a.m. I get to her house at 10 a.m. and open the door, and everything looks fine until I notice something. There's a glass on the counter with ice in it. And it caught me off guard to the point where I had to stop. And I made a mistake. I stood there trying to figure it out. What I should have done was, when I saw that glass with ice in it and know my mother had been gone for hours, I should have stepped back out the door and assessed the situation. In any instance where you go into an environment and something doesn't look right, you know it's out of place, just remove yourself from the environment if you can. Don't get caught into not assessing and putting yourself in a safe position. If you walk up to your vehicle and you have a panhandler or somebody trying to get money from you, don't take it for granted that's what the person's walking up to you for. I will walk around the front of my truck and put that whole truck between me and that person walking towards me, and I don't care. I'm not going to die of shame, because that's what will happen. If you're too embarrassed to protect yourself by making good tactical decisions, you may die because you were ashamed to do it. So once you're on the other side, then you can turn and face the person, and they do not have easy access to putting their hands on you or even using a weapon. So one of the big things with situational awareness is always be able to move, because if you see something that is not right, remove yourself from the environment, because distance gives you more options. The more distance you have, the more options. So just remember, when you go to get in your car, don't be in a rush to get those keys in your hand after a long day. Assess your vehicle. If you by chance see somebody at your vehicle, and this has happened to me, where you'll walk outside to go to your vehicle and somebody is trying to break in, don't yell, "Hey, what are you doing to my vehicle?" They may have a gun or a knife if you're close enough. The best thing to do is assess. If they don't know you're there, think about and take in what they're doing. After that, you can either retreat, call the police, which I would suggest, or if you're a cool enough character, what I did is I walked over and said, "Hey, is there anything good in there?" And the guy looked at me and goes, "This car is mine." And so I left, went and called the police because I knew for sure he was the thief. But that's one of those circumstances. You have to have good presence of mind. Your heart is going to be pumping, your adrenaline's going to be pumping. And just remember those situational awareness conditions. White is you're not paying attention. Yellow is you're tracking and paying attention. Now, in newer fighter aircraft, they have radars, and I like to use that as an analogy. They have passive radar mode, which means it only is sending out a signal far enough to where if a threat gets close, it will alert the pilot. Then they have active search and scan modes that reach out much further, but that the enemy can also see. So in your day-to-day, you should try to use that, where if you're in passive mode, you're looking at your immediate area within 7 to 10 feet of yourself. And then if you notice a threat, or if something catches your eye further away, that's when you can go into active mode. But always remember, your most deadly weapon you carry with you at any time is your brain. If you can think, then you will win. So until next time, take care.